Okay, the floor is yours.
So I am up first. So hi, and welcome everyone to How to Look Your Virtual Best on Zoom conference calls and meetings. I'm Sharon Kornstein. I'm your business wardrobe stylist. And what I do is I work with business owners and executives, helping them to build their ideal wardrobe. Today, since all or mostly all of our meetings and business interactions are online, I'm going to be talking about how to, basically what to wear and how to present yourself from the chest or shoulders up in order to make your best virtual impression. I started my business image design 20 years ago and attended FIT for image consulting. I'm the past president of the New York chapter of Association of Image Consultants International, and I also went to business school. So today, Carrie Barrett, Eve Pearl, and I will be giving you some well-rounded advice for looking your virtual best, and I'm going to hand it over to Eve.
I'm a 5-time Emmy Award-winning celebrity makeup artist, but I live here in our beautiful New Jersey in Morris County, and I'm going to be showing you today in just a few minutes how you can look healthy, look younger, look thinner, and look better for not only Zoom, but everything else that we're doing right now, not only with social, but in our daily interactions. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a few minutes. Yeah, younger, thinner, healthier, and we're going to do it right here a little bit and a little bit later as well. And I'm going to hand it off to Carrie.
For sure. I'm all in. I'm going to help you look thinner too on camera. Eve's going to do it with makeup. I'm going to help you do it with your framing and your shot. So my name is Carrie Barrett. I own Carrie Barrett Consulting. I started it just about a year ago. I come to this business as a media trainer and a public speaking coach. Video presentation is what I'm known for. I spent 20 years in the broadcast news industry, an Emmy award-winning news anchor, reporter, and producer, most recently at WNBC in New York City on their morning program Today in New York. So I'm going to be taking what I know about being your best self on camera and helping you to use those same principles, simple tips and tactics to make sure that you shine on camera as well in terms of your framing, your shot, your lighting, your background, those kind of things. I do want to remind everybody to stick around to the end. Each of us have a special offer for the attendees. If you have questions about anything we've said or additional services, as we mentioned, you can ask those in the chat, in the Q&A at the end, but we will have that special offer for all of you guys once we are finished presenting. So with that, I am going to hand it over to Sharon. She's going to be kicking us off. I'm going to mute my mic, and Sharon, you can take it away.
All right, terrific. Thanks, Carrie. So yeah, so let's get started. And what I want to talk about first actually is grooming, because I have an expression: when you dress down, you want to groom up. We all know working from home, you have a tendency to just be casual. You know, you want to be comfortable. Maybe you're there with your family or your pets. And I mean, that's perfectly fine. We're not going to be dressing at the same level of formality that we would be if we were out and about and going to our offices. But it's actually more important when you're dressed in this casual state to be thinking a little bit more about your grooming, because the thing is, when people are seeing you on this small screen, everything is going to be magnified. So not only are they only seeing this very small portion of you, but we all know that when we're looking at the screen, there's nowhere else to look. So, you know, basically you are in people's fields of vision during the whole entire conversation. So what do I mean by grooming? I mean, think about your hair. Just take a quick look in the mirror before you go online. Just make sure if there are any flyaways, put a little styling cream on. I know a lot of you guys, so you're rocking your quarantine facial hair. So, you know, just make sure that it is not out of control. Trim it a little bit, maybe add a little bit of styling cream to that as well. As far as makeup, obviously Eve will be talking about that in much more detail when I'm through, but I just want to mention that makeup is a tool for anyone to use. It actually can work for men as well. And it, especially online, it will help you just bring out your features and smooth out your skin and eliminate any redness. I have collar issues here in grooming because it's surprising to me when I go into companies to give talks to employees, how many managing partners or owners are they tell me, oh, a collar is going to be so important. They complain that a lot of people come in with their collars looking all disheveled like the picture on the right. So you don't necessarily need a tie in order to keep your collar in place. You just want to make sure that it's pressed properly so the collar lies flat. You want to make sure that it's buttoned up. Just really, you're going to only unbutton the top button. And you want to use collar stays, assuming that's the type of collar that you have. You can always also do a button-down collar. It helps it stay in place more. But this is obviously something that people are going to be seeing on your video calls. Other suggestions I have as far as colors and styles, I like the deeper, more saturated colors. They will show up better on the small screen. If yellow is a flattering color for you, yellow looks terrific on a video call. Most shades of blue are flattering as well. This is a nice teal blue look. I have the white blast here because white is often a default for us, for men and women both. But the thing with white and other light colors like tan and other pastels is that they can look a bit bland on a video call. So that's why I added a contrasting color scarf. You could also do a necklace. Other flattering colors, most of the deep colors, black, I'm wearing a purple, a deep green would be flattering. Here are just some other options for women, and I'm going to get to guys in a second. So for example, in the middle picture, it's a nice style with the moderate scoop neck in a burgundy knit top. If you're going to go red, I would go a deeper shade of red rather than more towards the orangey red, just because red doesn't always come across on the screen exactly as it looks to you in person. Various shades of blue are flattering. The blue sweater set is going to be a nice look. If you want to do the white blouse with a contrasting cardigan over it, I would just do something that's a different color, like navy or black, or something that's going to really help show up. As far as some of you guys, you don't necessarily need to do a collared button down shirt like I showed earlier that you would wear a tie with. Certainly a knit shirt is an option. The dark green looks nice. Burgundy with the mock neck is a good choice. If you guys want to do layering, you can certainly do a pullover sweater with a contrasting shirt underneath. And I just want to mention as far as patterns versus solids, patterns are fine, solids are a safer choice, but if you want to do a pattern, I would suggest something that does have a higher contrast. So for example, in the picture on the right, the shirt is a blue with a white. So it just shows up a little better than if the colors were more similar. A couple other looks for guys, certainly just a plain blue button-down collar shirt is going to be flattering. Again, the facial hair, these guys are showing some of it, but certainly they're trying to keep it neat. You may want to wear a sport jacket if you are either presenting or possibly interviewing. So there are a couple reasons to step up the level of formality in the video calls. Personally, I like the blue blazer in the middle over the pattern shirt. I just like it a little better rather than the solid shirt with the pattern jacket over it. But obviously you're just going to wear what you have in your wardrobe. A couple more formal style looks for women could be jackets over different style of tops. The look on the left I really like with the black and white jacket over the black top, and you can see she even has a little bit of contrast in the neckline over there, and the hoop earrings are going to show it off as well. As far as the look on the right with the gray jacket and the white shirt, it's a little more casual because the shirt is more of a t-shirty style, but still would be great for an interview or if you were presenting. The look in the middle is not something that I'm so crazy about just because the colors are very light and you don't see a lot of contrast between the blouse and the jacket. So other things I would recommend, what not to wear. I mentioned red. It's not really the safest choice. In addition, the red look on the right is, to me, too casual. It's more of a t-shirty type look. I certainly don't recommend on the left wearing something that's going to be super low or have just, you know, too light of a color. It's not going to show up at all on the video screen. And then in the middle, a sweatshirt, again, not something I recommend for either men or women. If you really need to do a sweatshirt, I would say something not with a hood and something not with a logo, because you can see right in the middle is the logo, and not that we have anything against Tommy Hilfiger, but it's something that we would just be staring at during the video call. And it's a way to be advertising for the designer, not really advertising your own brand. A couple other options if you want to accessorize, certainly not essential, but a scarf over a simple black top could be a nice way to add in a little color. We all have, ladies, we all have scarves in our drawers that we don't necessarily take out because we might not know how to tie them or think they have to be perfect. They really don't. If you want to wear a scarf, you can just kind of casually tie it around your neck, tie it to one side or put it in the middle, so long as you can see some of the colors. White pearl earrings, that seems to become my go-to choice for these meetings. I just like the way they look up on the screen. And then certainly a simple black wrap style top is a good option. Other accessories, and I would just choose one of these. I wouldn't do a statement necklace and statement earrings, but gold necklace with the leaves is nice. Something with a little color, blue or the orange. Gold hoop earrings are always going to be pretty, and then the drop earrings are good as well. Okay. And before I finish up, I just want to mention expression and body language, because these are all also part of your nonverbal communication. Maintain an even gaze. It doesn't mean that you need to be completely smiling the whole time, but just do your best to be looking at the screen, looking into the camera. Again, people are going to notice it because so long as you have your video feed on, they're going to be looking at you on their computer. Sit up straight. You want to be comfortable in your chair, but certainly try to have decent posture. Forgo the head tilt. I'm mentioning this because this seems to be more of an issue for women, but you'll see people kind of maybe tilting their head as they're listening, and it's a subconscious reaction, but it actually demonstrates acquiescence. So it's not something that you need to be doing during your video calls. Just, you know, keep your shoulders down, head straight, eliminate fidgeting, face touching. I know we all want to look at our phones, and, you know, it's fine to take a glance at it, but you don't want to be really sitting there with your video on, not paying attention or kind of, you know, fidgeting with something. You don't want to be eating. If you must drink, my suggestion is to use a straw just before you start your day of your Zoom calls. Just fill up a travel cup with whatever beverage of your choice and use a straw. It's better than picking up a big cup or a mug and blocking your face. Keep your slate smile, have an open expression, be present, and be pleasant. So we will all notice these things about you when you are on your video and Zoom calls. So thank you. And next up is Eve to tell us about how to apply our makeup and the miracles that it can create.
Okay.
Eve, I've unmuted you.
Okay, thank you. And then thank you very much, Sharon. And to segue off of that about the distractions. So here we all are, and we want to avoid distractions. Whether you're comfortable with Zoom or not, if that's something that you use often or not, people are looking at us, they're looking at our faces, and most women, we have things like redness or discoloration. You might have acne scars or, you know, issues that you're not comfortable with, like sunspots or birthing spots, dark under eye circles. Any of those things, I want you to like get rid of that from your head and not even worry about it too much, because see, like for instance, I don't even know how to make my screen large. And I just took off my glasses and I can't see it. Oh my gosh, I have a Zoom meeting coming up really quick, and what am I going to do to make myself look better? So I just want to show you how I start, what my face looks like. And if you had to look at me with my redness and discoloration, it would be a little distracting, right? So if I'm talking with you and you're looking at the redness, and if you actually look at this side to this side, it looks like I might have had a facelift on this side, and this side is drooping. I'm going to show you a couple of quick things that are important when you want to look your best and you want to look younger and thinner. All right, I'm going to just show you. This is the E-Pro method of what you want to start every day. Of course, a little bit of moisturizer. I'm going to just do a half of my face. And I'm using a brush right now. Sometimes if you use a brush to apply makeup and even skincare to your face, it makes it more smooth and you're not wasting any product. So I'm going to show you something called the reverse contouring. Later on, I'm going to show you how to choose colors. I have a crazy, amazing promo for all of us who are here this afternoon. This is the light foundation. I'm the light. We only have 6 shades, so you would fall anywhere between light, fair, light, medium, and tan. But I wanted to show you on what it takes to make your face look thinner and uplifted and well balanced. With the one brush, I'm going to grab a little bit of side one. So smiling, because we don't want to be seeing this. We want to be seeing smoothness. So as I smile, I'm putting the lighter color underneath. Now this looks like it's thickened a lot, but it's not. It's just a concentrated formula that's pigmented. It's highly pigmented. I'm using very little product. And then I put the side 2 right here. I just took the brush. Part of the kit that I have has water in it. I'm going to just spray the brush with water because this is a concentrate. And it's got actually no fragrance or parabens. But by putting the light color here and the dark color here, this is called reverse contouring. Basically, this allows me to contour with just 2 steps instead of the 5 to 10 steps they usually do. I work on live TV on the Today Show and The View, and I help set those looks. But right there covered up the redness and also gave me a little chisel. Part of the kit I'm going to show you is this little bombshell that, you know, this is a good traveling thing that has everything in it. And I'm going to just take, this is a fan brush. I always use a little bit of peach, a little bit of pink, because we're never going to be one color, and it doesn't matter what you're wearing on your clothes. You might change your mind. You might have several meetings that you don't want to be wearing the same thing to. So by using the both colors, no matter what you end up wearing, it's going to be flattering on you. Now, let's say you put too much. Oh my goodness, don't panic. And here you have 2 colors of powder. Take a little puff, and by pressing with the puff, the lighter color underneath, by maintaining that whole reverse contouring, it will give you that little chisel. So I'm going to show you one more time. Taking the lighter color, so totally opposite of everything that we know. So the lighter color goes actually underneath. And I want you to smile. The purpose for the smile is to find our cheek. So it gets cut right here. I hope you can notice how when you cut that cheek right there, it kind of gives you a nice little lift. So you do that, blend it in, take your brush, and try to always lift things up. Just think of taking everything that's going south and take it back up north, okay? So take everything up. So that's the good beginning of getting your face. Don't worry, gentlemen, I have things for you as well. And just a quick way for your eyes, the same one palette. All you have to do is take one big brush, take the same lighter color, put that all over your eyelid. All right, take a little mixer blender brush back to these 2 pink and peach colors into a little bit of the bronzer. Put that on your crease just to give you a little bit of a color on your eyes so it's not so bland. Do a little back and forth like a windshield wiper right in the center. Even if you don't have a lid, just halfway between your lash line and your brow. A little back and forth action. It'll just give you a little dimension. Using a thin brush, just take a little bit of this brown color and put something on the edge of your eye. Just a little bit of coloring. This will give you contour. And once again, just a tiny bit of dimension. If you feel like you put too much, go back to your little blender, go back and forth just to smooth it out. Now you look more polished. So like your eyes are done a little bit. Of course, don't forget the mascara, you know, grab the mascara, you know how to put that on. I also will recommend using the brown colors here. And even if you've got blonde hair, you use a little bit of the brown and then you go into this little warm color and you can do your brows. I would usually take this brown, a little bit of this, and then I do my brows because that will give me the perfect brow color. But I also then go back and use that brown on the outside edge of my eye with the same little brush, go into, this is a little bronzing color, and I do that right on the inner. Now you've finished your eye makeup, you've done also your face, everything is kind of balanced here. Of course, you can't be finished until you have lipstick on. It's so important to have something on your lips. Try to use, well, this is called Rosé. It's part of the kit. I always find it's best to use a combination, again, of a pink and peach. Mostly youth is like more of a pinky color. So keep that going. And if you don't have a way to make your lips perfect, I always just take a gloss and use a doe foot of the gloss to extend my lips. Try not to use too much pencils because as you're talking through the meetings, your lipstick might come off and then you'll have like a weird, you know, line. But that is the look. Take powder, make sure that you eliminate the shine. If you ever do something where your eyebrows look like, oh my gosh, there's too much, go back into this little fan brush, take a little powder and put that over your eyebrows. If that's the little trick in case your eyebrows look like you put a Sharpie on them. Every now and then, you know, that can happen. And that's the look for women. I want to show you now a look for men. Men need to have camera ready looks as well. The most important thing that you could do as a man is to get rid of the shine and to make your face look healthy. Men also have redness. So the first thing you want to do as a man is make sure that you moisturize your skin and also your lips. Then you want to have, in case you're going, you know, things are kind of receding a little powder. So again, 2 color combinations. And then I'm going to offer you something that's this thing. In case you're scared of the powder, this is something called powderless powder. So there's no color, no powder. And men, you need a little bit of concealer. Okay, the concealer is mostly for around here or for when you're about to get that 5 o'clock shadow, a little bit. And in the kit that I have for men, this is all in there. All you have to do is choose your shade and a little brush. So for you, gentlemen, you take a little bit of concealer, tiny bit, usually put it around the under eye area, a little tiny, like by dots, you know, make little dots and blend things in. This thing that's called a powderless powder, the powderless powder is nothing. You can't see, but it will eliminate any shine that you have by just dabbing it either with a brush or with a puff. And this is the most distracting thing that you can do is when you're having a conversation or a conference and lights are shining from the top of wherever you're sitting or whether it's from the front, shine, shine, shine. So you need to get rid of that. Powderless powder and a little bit of color does not hurt, especially if you have white underneath here. If you've just shaved and you look like you were trying to hurt yourself or, you know, you've got a little bit of redness or discoloration, all you have to do is take a brush and even if you're a Caucasian man, I would suggest a tan. So for instance, like if you take a look at, you know, at Mike, who is the president, he is light colored. But on Mike, hello, Mr. Stanzillas, Michael Stanzillas, I would use a tan coloring for him. So if you like the way he looks in the photo shoot for the Chamber of Commerce, this was the coloring that was used. And with the tan, the reason for this coloring is because as you're getting older, you're getting a lot of ruddiness and there's redness around your neck and redness on your ears. So you just want to get that balance. So don't be scared. Take a brush, even if it's just a thinly rubbing both colors together, just put it around your face and you can do like little bits. Even look, I just did that here. It just took away some of the whiteness. It just took away, if you go to the edges of your, you know, of your hairline, it'll just sort of like make everything a little bit calmer and a little bit smoother. And ladies, if you have men in your lives that are at home, you can do this for them in the beginning because in the beginning they'll be really scared. So you could just say, hey, this is not makeup. This is just a powderless powder. It's actually nothing. It's just a skincare for you. So you just take this, take a brush and put, like, just dab it on their face, especially if they're balding. Then you take a puff, you put it on this, you put a little bit of it on the powder and like dab, dab, dab it on their faces. I'm telling you, it's gonna make everything nice and matte and presentable. And later on, we will have a nice promotional offers for you. And I'm going to be doing a much more detailed thing later on Facebook Live. So on, you know, Eve Pearl, on the Eve Pearl page. So I am, with that said, I hope that made some sense. But we have something for all of you and for all of us. And our goal is really just to have us all be healthy and look healthy. And of course, as we're eating, getting fatter, I need whatever help I can get to look a little thinner. So hope that helped. Carrie, on to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm all over whatever you can do to help me look like I'm not putting on the Quarant 20 or maybe the Quarant 30 by the time all of this is said and done, because it's real. So Eve and Sharon, thank you so much. I appreciate all of the great tips that you guys have given all of us. I learned something too, despite my time being in front of the camera, and I thought I knew everything already. Shockingly, I don't. So thank you both very much for that. I just want to piggyback off two things that both Sharon and Eve said that I think are important to highlight. One is Sharon mentioned that field of vision kind of shrinking down when you are on a monitor, and she's so correct. And it's one of the mottos that one of the adages that I try and provide to my clients and really help them take in. And that is, if it distracts, it detracts. And what may detract in person around a conference table is very different than what may detract or distract on camera. So Sharon mentioned that field of vision, and she mentioned on, you know, being on your phone, which we all have, mine's right next to me. I'm sure all of yours are as well. But just to highlight that, I was on a webinar a few weeks ago, and one of the panelists spent the duration of the time on her phone. And it was like this, and she was stock still and her eyes were down. And I thought one of two things. I thought either her video froze or that she had actually fallen asleep on camera, because I couldn't see what was going on around her. So it's those subtle little nuances that make a big difference. And Eve mentioned the makeup for men. I can attest to the fact that there's not a single man you see on TV that doesn't have a face full of makeup on it, and it still looks natural. It's just a matter of practicing it and getting it down. And it doesn't need to be a lot. For men, some powder, some stuff to get rid of the readiness. But anyway, thank you both very much. So let's talk about my area of expertise, which is making sure that you look as best you can after you have the hair and the clothing and the makeup when you're actually in front of that lens. So I'm going to be talking about your shot, right? Your actual camera shot on your webcam, your background, and then very slightly, we'll talk about camera presence and how energy plays into that. So let's start with talking about framing. And framing basically just means where you are in the shot of your frame and your camera. So generally, what I like to advise is that you should be centered in your video screen, right? So not off to the side, not peeking down from the bottom, not way up at the top where everybody can get a great shot of your nose or your double chin, as we all put on the poundage during this time stuck inside, but right in the middle of your shot. And when you are putting that together, I like to think of what you may see when you were watching a single anchor at a news desk. And the reason that they are framed as tightly as they are, right? It's usually mid-chest up, maybe mid-torso up. And that's not random. They're framed that way for a reason. And the reason is so that their audience can look into their eyes. And the reason, of course, that the audience needs to look into your eyes, because you are now the anchor and the director of your next virtual presentation, is that it helps establish trust. And, you know, if you weren't giving the person on the other side of the lens the opportunity to look into your face and look at your eyes, you might as well just have a regular phone call, because the goal of this is to help establish that connection and help establish that trust. So for example, when you are seated relatively close to your monitor and you are filling up the frame, for lack of a better word, right? You have some presence within that box. you guys probably have a pretty good view of my eyes, right? There's not a lot of headroom at the top, and just to demonstrate, if I were to move way back here, you can't really see as well anyway what I'm doing with my eyes, right? So a little bit of that depends on how large your monitor is and how good your sight is and all that other good stuff. But the point is to frame yourself the way you would see an anchor on a news desk. And if you have questions about how to make that happen, I'd be happy to help you. One of the things that helps with that is your camera level. And so the actual camera on your, whether it's your phone or your webcam or whatever, should be either at eye level or slightly above. And there is a reason when people take a selfie that they take one like this and they don't take one like this. If you want to do a number to your self-esteem, bend over your cell phone and take a gander at what your face looks like that way. Trust me, it's devastating. So camera slightly above eye level. It's just a more flattering shot. And then what I like to do is actually tilt my monitor slightly forward just to get rid of that excess headroom at the top. You don't want your head sticking out of the monitor, but you also don't want it like this. You don't want to be looking at the ceiling with a ton of headroom. It's just empty space. There's no point in it being there. The point of the video call is you being there. So I hope that makes sense. Let's talk a little bit about lighting, because I'm sure we have all seen the person who is perhaps in front of a big light or a window with a lot of light flowing in from behind them. And that has the undesirable effect of making you look like you're one digitized voice away from the witness protection program, because we can't see your face. We need to see your face. So one of the things that I suggest is trying to put your computer in front of a large window. So directly on the other side of my laptop. I'm lucky in the room that I use for my home office, there's a huge wall of windows. It's almost floor to ceiling and wall to wall. So it gives a nice full light. There's no weird directly overhead lights that make shadows. There's no, it's brighter on one side. I do have a kind of a wall of windows here, but I also have counteracted that with a light over on the other side of my office as well that helps keep it a little bit more even. What I would suggest, if you don't have great lighting in wherever it is that you are setting up your shop, as it were, for your home office, is purchasing a little bit of gear. There's actually two pieces of gear that I would suggest that you can buy for relatively inexpensively on Amazon, although good luck with the shipping times right now, but they're easy ways to up level your shot. And one of them is something like this. It's just a little ring light, okay? If you have really poor light in your office, or for example, if I have a meeting on Zoom and it's nighttime outside, this is not going to cut it. I'm going to need something a little bit bigger than this. This I purchased on Amazon for $20. You clip it on. I use it on my phone too. It has 3 different levels. You can also buy something that's a little bit stronger, a 10-inch ring light that you actually have to put on the stand on the back of your computer. That usually runs about $50. If you have questions about what may be a good option for you, I'm happy to walk you through that. The other piece of gear that I would suggest is a stand for your computer to help raise that camera level. You can also buy those on Amazon for about $30. I can provide some recommendations. I have a few. However, know that you can also put your computer on a stack of books. I'm just not comfortable with putting my computer on a stack of books because I'm a klutz. So I'd rather have a stand that I know things are a little bit more secure on. So that's why I suggest a stand. But if you guys have questions about gear, I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. And then as far as, this is a crowd pleaser, there is a filter on Zoom. I don't know if you knew about that, but it is, I think, pretty darn amazing. So I'm going to walk you through how to put that filter on your Zoom lens. There are other filters on other video platforms. A lot of them are Snapchat-esque, meaning you can give yourself cat ears and cat whiskers. I don't think that's where you want to go right now. If you do, we can talk. You might need some additional business coaching. But for smoothing out your complexion and making it look like you are perhaps a little bit more well rested and well hydrated than you are, this is what I suggest. So if you go down into the bottom, and I can walk you through this if any of you don't catch this right now, I can walk you through offline. If you go to the bottom left-hand side of your Zoom screen, you will see a microphone that says mute, and then over to the right, you will see a picture of a video recorder, video camera that says stop video. Directly to the right of that, there is a little caret. If you click on that caret, you will see select a camera, FaceTime, choose virtual background and video settings. Click on video settings, a larger white window will appear in the middle of your screen. Over on the left-hand side, there'll be several options: general, video, audio, share screen. Video should already be highlighted. If it's not, highlight it, right? Turn it blue. And then go over to the center of that window and you will see a My Video. Enable HD, mirror my video, touch up my appearance. Make sure that touch up your appearance box is checked and don't ever uncheck it. You will never catch me on one of these calls without that thing clicked. I know, I think it's fabulous, and I just, right, my skin does not look this good right now, I can assure you, but it just provides that little bit of it's like an Instagram filter for Zooms. If you have questions about how to make that happen for you and you haven't been able to figure it out just now, let me know and I'll walk you through. All right, let's talk about background. So I think the stigma of a home office is gone. There are some things you can do if you don't like where you are. There are virtual backgrounds that you can set up, et cetera, et cetera. Some of them are okay. Some of them, the tech is not so great and you move your hands and there's a lag time and half your hand is chopped off and you can see part of your actual background superimposed on it can get a little messy. So what I would suggest is if you're looking for a great place to shoot your video, you obviously, in your webcam, you obviously want a place where you can try and make it as hygiene as possible. And by that, I mean, you want to make sure that you can control your lighting and you can control your audio. Is there going to be a bunch of sound around you? Is this a place where your kids come tromping through all the time? Are you near the doorbell? Whatever, those kinds of things. Scout out your location. Once you have that, what I suggest is, right, we're all used to mementos and stuff. We've gotten used to seeing what's going on in the background of people's homes. And I think that's okay as long as you don't have something that's totally inappropriate. I don't know what you'd have, but I don't know all of you on this call. So there may be some of you are a little freaky. Just make sure that whatever you have behind you is it's not on your video camera. I like a little depth. And the reason is I don't like right up against the wall. You see weird shadows behind you. It's uninteresting. It can be kind of boring. A little bit of depth and a background that is neutral. If you have like a room that's bright red or like mustard yellow or very dark navy, not only will they not do you any favors if you have issues with lighting, but they can be a little bit off-putting. And oh, by the way, it's harder to make yourself stand out in front of that background. So a gray background, even a light dusty blue background, anywhere you have a neutral spot, it's probably, if you can use it because the lighting's okay and you're not going to have issues with sound, that's probably the place to set up shop. Background is you're limited. I know we're all limited with what we can work with because we're stuck in our homes and that's just how it is. But if you'd like me to walk you through different areas of your home and see what would make the best shot, I'd be happy to do that. All right, and then finally, what I'd like to talk about is presence. And it's different talking on camera than it is in person for a number of reasons, far too many, in fact, to get into in the next 2 minutes. But what I would say is this. Sharon mentioned keeping that smile on your face. And I think that is important. I realize after several years in TV, and I caught myself on a monitor one time as I was looking across the studio, that I have, and excuse me for the sexist term, I have RBF, which is, right? If you're not familiar with it, resting bitch face. And it's not because I'm upset, it's just the natural state of my face when I'm sitting there. And so I thought, wow, I look really sullen and angry. I need to change that. And it doesn't mean, Sharon, you're right, it doesn't mean putting a huge smile on your face, but maybe just a slight upturn of the lips so that your face looks a little bit more neutral and it's not so potentially off-putting to people who are on the other side of your camera. And then I'd also like to talk about energy. And I think one of the things we all have probably Zoom fatigue at this point, and we are so tired of being on camera. What I would say is this, is that you need to bring it when you are in front of the camera. I mean, you really have to be over the top on a camera to look over the top to the people on the other side. It's so easy when you're not actually in front of someone to let that energy slip. And so what I suggest doing is hopping on a Zoom call by yourself. It's just you, and start a meeting by yourself and do an introduction, the way you would pitch yourself or what you would say to a potential client or even a colleague or a teammate, and record it, and then go back and watch it and see if in fact you look as energetic as you thought you came across. Because my bet is you don't. And I only know this from experience. I would think that I was really animated during a newscast or a story, and then I would go back and look at it and I would feel like I looked half asleep. And I thought, well, I'm like animated the way I'm normally in life, but that doesn't cut it on camera. Everything is generally, you need to do a little more, right? Whether that is raise the volume of your voice a little more, make sure that you don't have so much kind of dead space between your thoughts, which doesn't mean use filler words, but just don't pause like that, because it sucks all the energy right out of the room. That is, oh, I promised you a tip for looking thinner on camera, and then I will shut up. So Eve told us how to do it with makeup. Let me demonstrate this for you. If I am in front of a camera and I lean back, right, the thing that is, depending on my framing, the thing that is closest to the camera is my belly. If I get comfortable in my chair like this, here's the thing about the camera. Whatever is closest looks biggest, and what is furthest away looks smallest. So if my head is behind my stomach, I can guarantee that my stomach looks bigger. So what I like to do is actually position myself with about a 15-degree lean forward, right? So that my face is actually what's closest to the camera. My body is sitting a little bit behind it. Not only does it help me with my posture and my energy, but it also helps keep my face front and center and my abs in the distance. So that is all for me today. I want to take a quick second and remind you guys that we have an offer for all of the attendees, a special offer from each of us individually. So I will quickly go through mine, and then I will hand it over to Eve to go through hers. I would like to offer all of the attendees on this webinar a free 30-minute consult. All you have to do is call me or email me. My email and my phone number are in the chat. Sharon has a wonderful PowerPoint that she put together with all of our contact information that she'll be showing you at the end as well. But whether that is about video presence, video messaging, construction, whether it is, let me walk you through your house and see where your best shot is, anything that you need to make sure that you are your best self on camera, call me, please set up a consult. I'd be happy to walk you through that. Additionally, since I have the mic right now, I'm in the chat box and I just posted it. I have an event that I am hosting on Thursday with Paradigm Marketing and Design and a number of other prominent business leaders, owners, and entrepreneurs. It is a free all-day virtual summit. I'm going to be talking about using video, self-made video on your phone efficiently and affordably to put together marketing content while we are in the middle of this quarantine especially, and we need to make sure that our marketing game is up. So the link for registration is in the window, but again, you can always contact me if you have additional information. I will shut up right now and I will hand it over to Eve. Thank you.
That was terrific. I just leaned forward as you were saying that. I found myself, adjusting everything. Thank you for that filter, because, we all need a filter. What I want to offer is a kit that I put together. I have a PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you in a moment. That maybe we have it also here on this recording. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share. Sorry, as I talk this through, there we go. So I'm going to share this one right here. Hang on. There we go. So maybe you guys could see, yeah, so you can see this and we're recording. So hopefully this will be available later. Here's all three of us so you can see what we're doing. I have this kit put together per shade for a set with 17 pieces that also will include a how to apply it, like step by step, paid by numbers, but there's only 2 numbers because I don't do numbers very well. So just 2, we can do that. The shades are available from fair, this was fair, light, medium, and then tan, dark, and deep. And this is the social things that you could find us on. I'm going to give you actually the promo pricing for that. That whole value, by the way, of that kit that you just saw was, that whole value was $586. And if there's a special value, it's just up now for $190. But wait, there's more. I have another promo code because you're on here that if you add then the promo code Be Safe, which is 50% off, you'll get that whole thing for, you do the math. I think it's like $95. So for this entire kit will be $95, where usually just the foundation is $58. So anyway, this entire kit, after you put in the codes, will be that. That's for women. And then the men's one is this one that had like moisturizer and everything for your face. And that whole kit that is here for $371, that's going to be the same, same prices. It'll be slashed. Again, this was just being done right now, so you'll see, but the same thing goes, put in the Be Safe coding. I think it'll be less than this, but at least you'll know. Here's the code. I'm also going to be doing a live streaming of like all of this in much more detail with face and eyes and lips and all that good stuff later tonight. That's ePearl, and it's going to be both on Facebook page, YouTube, and all that good stuff. And yeah, and hopefully we can do more things that are a little bit longer. And look how beautiful the ladies are. Then I hope to see you guys again soon. And I'm handing it over to you, Sharon.
Okay, great. Thank you, Eve and Carrie. Yeah, great job and great information. So I am offering an online Zoom style session. It's $75. It's really a lot of the same information that I would give in an in-person session, which is several times more than that. So it's learning your best colors, learning your best styles, talking about how to appear your best on Zoom, but also information and advice that you could take forward for just basically going into the future. So you can actually sign up for that on my website, which is, Kay, if you want to add that, it's consulting.com, or I'll put it into the chat. So yeah, so thanks everyone. I think we do have a little time for questions, and let me just add my screen so we can get everyone's contact information.
Okay, so while you're setting that up and we're waiting for some questions to roll in via chat, thank you so much for this information. I know I was desperate for it. This is actually the very first webinar that I have video on because I got a webcam yesterday. So as someone said before, I'm leaning forward while Carrie's telling me to lean forward, and it's really good information, so thank you. So just so you know, I'm posting some links in chat. Keep an eye on our LinkedIn page and our Facebook page for upcoming webinars. Tomorrow's webinar at noon is managing employees and providing a safe workplace during the COVID-19 pandemic, so that should be some great information. And if you want to review this information again or other webinars, it's going to be on our YouTube page along with our website's video library. So I'm going to drop those in the chat. And let's see if we have any questions.
I see a question from Kathy about ideal backgrounds, blank wall, office, virtual, something else. If I could jump on that and give her my 2 cents. We talked a little bit about, if the best you have is a blank wall, I would go with a blank wall over, if you don't have an office space that's appropriate, the less distraction, the better. A blank wall can be a little bit visually uninteresting, but I'd want to take a look at what you have and what virtual background you're considering. I'm always hesitant with the virtual backgrounds because if they don't work well, they can be super distracting. So I'd be happy to take a look at some of the things you're considering. But if you have you know, not great lighting in your office, I would go with your blank wall. As long as it's not a crazy color. In terms of what you need to do when you step away from a virtual meeting, that's an etiquette question, and I'm so glad you asked it because it's usually one of the elements that I include in my presentation, and I didn't today for time's sake. I suggest when you build your Zoom profile or any other video platform that you put a headshot in your profile. It's super easy. It's a drag and drop, just like you would do for your LinkedIn profile or Facebook or Twitter or whatever else. And the reason is when you go down and you see that little microphone and video camera on the bottom left-hand side of your Zoom screen, Zoom I'm talking specifically, if you hit stop video, it will automatically populate your video box with the profile, with the headshot rather, that you have chosen. And I think that's a great thing to do for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you're on the video call with a potential client or maybe a new client who is still putting your face and name together, it reinforces your presence during that meeting. It's not an empty room. It's not a black box. It is your name and your face, and they are continuing to see you there and put those elements together, and they're absorbing them. Additionally, sometimes just because we can't see ourselves on the camera because there's a screen share up, doesn't mean that we're not on camera. If you didn't see what happened to #poor Jennifer at the beginning of this whole quarantine thing, look it up. Poor Jennifer thought she wasn't on camera and brought her laptop or her phone or whatever it was that she was on into the bathroom with her during a virtual meeting with her colleagues, and they all saw everything. And then because somebody decided to make it public, we all saw everything. So if you click that stop video and populate it with a headshot, you are good to go on all fronts. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, thank you so much. Are there any other questions in chat? We still have a couple minutes before we hit 1 o'clock.
Vince, this is unrelated, but you asked me if I went to Clemson. I did. I started there as a pre-veterinary medicine major. I went there for undergrad, but then I switched to the University of Florida, so I'm a Gator.
Carrie, I do have a question for you, if that's okay.
Yes. Sure.
So, are you wearing a white inner liner on your lower lash line?
I am, and
Okay.
my eyes are really bloodshot, not because I was doing anything I shouldn't have been doing last night, but just because I didn't sleep really well. So one of the things that I suggest, and Eve can perhaps add a little bit more analysis or thought behind this, but I always do either like kind of a skin color, like a pinky nude, or a white liner on the inner rim, because it covers up that redness, and I feel like it makes my eyes pop a little bit more. The issue with white liner is that it can be really bright and really distracting, and so you have to use a light touch generally when you put it on. I don't know, Eve, you may have more to add about that.
I personally prefer not to use it. If you're gonna, because someone notices it. So, and that's what they're focusing on. Your eyes are beautiful, even if they're bloodshot. If your eyes are bloodshot, work on your lips, make them pop more. It'll give you a nice balance. It's a distraction. You're beautiful. No, that's my, yeah, I wouldn't do it. I would do the light skin color one would be better because it'll flow in with your eye. And then there's drops that are called, they're called blue drops. Those are really good. Garth Brooke taught me about those about 20 years ago. Blue drops, they'll take the redness away.
They are good, man. Yeah. I've used those a time or two myself.
Yeah.
So, Kay, yeah, I just want to mention two more things, because when I talked about the promotion, I do have a monthly newsletter. I know a lot of you on the call get it already, and it has lots of tips and suggestions as far as fashion and beauty and lifestyle and etiquette. So anyway, if you are interested, you can sign up for that on my website. And I just know that even once we can get out and about and, you know, this unusual situation is over, everyone is still going to be really doing a lot of these video calls because it's just such a handy way to get together with people. So all this advice is not just for now, it's for going forward as well.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. And thank you to all three of you. I definitely appreciate the advice again. And thank you so much for putting on this presentation for the Chamber. We really appreciate it. We are moving more towards digital events, and we are continuing to support and empower businesses now in a digital space. So we hope that these webinars will continue to help with that. So any closing comments, ladies?
I would just like to add something. It was really a pleasure, first off, working with both Sharon and Carrie and Mike and you, Kate. Thank you. It was the first time that we've met or worked together, and I think it's a great thing that we can even build on. I learned a lot from both of you, and so thank you. And it would be nice if we could help others, but like specifically, like, okay, this is what we would do for you. It's just kind of a nice, maybe we could do something interactive with maybe a little bit longer, like a hands-on type of a thing, something to work on. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I jump in really quickly? Kathleen Bray just asked me a question. I tried to quickly address it in the chat, but because we're running out of time, please email me and I can go into further detail if you would like it.
Okay, perfect. So we just hit 1 o'clock. So if you have any additional questions, please contact Sharon, Carrie, or Eve via their contact information up on the screen. I will be sending them the contact list for this webinar, so they will be reaching out with their promotional opportunities. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope I will see you all on the next webinar.
Stay healthy.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Have a great day, everyone.